Good evening, and welcome to the regular scheduled meeting of the Mayor and Council. Today is Tuesday, February 18th, 2020, and we are coming to you the day after President's Day, which was on Monday. We will start the meeting with the Open Public Meetings Act. I hereby announce and request that such be included in the minutes of this meeting, that notice of the time, date, and place of the meeting has been properly noticed and mailed to the Times, the Star Ledger, the Courier News, the Alternative Press by January 10th, 2020, filed with the Borough Clerk, and mailed to any person requesting the same in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. If you may now please stand, those who are here, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would ask that you will remain standing for a moment of silence, and that I would ask that in your minds you keep certain things that are happening this month. This is Go Red for Women's Heart Health. We will be acknowledging Black History Month. We will be celebrating the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage. Thank you. Okay. So good evening. Good evening. And like I said, for those of you who are here in the audience and those who are watching at home, you will notice that the women on the council are wearing white this evening. And we are wearing white in recognition of the women who have come before us. This is 2020 is the 100th anniversary of the passage of the amendment that gave the woman the right to vote. And while we are celebrating the 100th anniversary of that right to vote, it actually took women 72 years before the passage of the amendment to get the right to vote. So in essence, we are recognizing and acknowledging and celebrating the really brave women that came before us that fought for 172 years to allow us to be able to go into the voting booths. And white was the color that they wore. And white stood for purity. Gold was another of the color that the women suffragettes used, and the gold was used to recognize sunflowers in Kansas, where Susan B. Anthony lived, and purple was loyalty. So thank you to my colleagues up here who took the call and are wearing white. May we now have a roll call, please?
Yes. Jeffrey Banks.
Here.
Anthony Carter. Francine Glazer.
Here.
Erin McElroy Barker.
Here.
Catherine Mitchell.
Here.
Tricia Walsh.
Here.
Colleen Moore.
Here. We'll begin with the review and approval of minutes of previous meetings that we have met. We had an agenda meeting last month, which was on January 6, 2020. We had a special meeting also on that night of January 6, 2020, and our regular scheduled meeting of January, which on the 21st of 2020. May I have a motion on the approval of those minutes?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Under appointments and announcements, we have one appointment. Former Councilman Tom Krantz is agreed to sit on the Board of Health as an alternate. So I'd like to have a motion made for that, please.
So moved. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we thank former Councilman Krantz for staying with us and getting involved. As I said earlier, February, there's a lot that goes on while we are experiencing a really mild winter coming off of President's Weekend and even Valentine's Day. We would be remiss if we didn't really actually pay a little bit more attention on some other things that are happening here in Fanwood and also within our community. So I'm going to go over to the podium. All right, so good evening again. I'd like to call up family investors that are here tonight, please. Hi. Hi, just introduce yourself, please.
I'm Dara Valley, Vice President of Family Investors.
And Peter Schmidt, the President of Family Investors.
So, Family Investors is here this evening for us to publicly congratulate and thank them on their 60th anniversary of operating here in Fanwood. So first, let's congratulate them.
Thank you.
And what's really nice is that Family Investors is actually the oldest continually operated brokerage firm in central New Jersey. So let that sink in, right here in our hometown. You know, we have such a stable business that actually really helps people plan their lives, right? And give them comfort, financial security. It was founded by Peter's father, Fred, who many of us up here fondly remember, very clearly remember him. Fred was a force of nature here in Fanwood. He was a civic leader. He was loved his church, loved his community, loved his Fanwood, and loved his family. And so, as I'm the mayor here now 16 years, one of the very first people that I had met was with you and meeting at a pizza joint to kind of say, what am I doing and where am I and what's going on with the business community here in Fanwood. And that's when our Business Professional Association was still in existence before right now we've sort of merged into the Greater Westfield Area Chamber. But I will never forget how serious you took your commitment of being a part of the fabric of our community and, you know, sort of put your money where your mouth is, so to speak, and really helped guide Fanwood and that your father and all your family have never lost sight of that. And so it would really be remiss of us not to actually just publicly acknowledge and thank you. And we've got two little small things. And you can thank our Clark Collins. So this is a little bit of a money tree.
Oh, yes, very nice. Very nice. Thank you.
And this is just a certificate of achievement that acknowledges that Family Investors has served our residents for over 60 years. We wanted to wish you a happy anniversary and just really thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I just want to take a minute and just, thank Mayor and Council for, bringing us out tonight and honor us. We're very humbled. My dad, Fred Schmidlin, kind of brought Wall Street to Fanwood back in 1960. And as I came over here tonight, passing 266 North Avenue, where English Chiropractic is there now, my dad, he spent 25 years there in that office on the corner, and I grew up at 288 North Avenue, so it was walking distance. But he had the foresight to really kind of, this was a new concept back 60 years ago. And we've been very blessed, and we were just, great to be part of this community and be able to give back. And that was my dad's mantra. He was, very involved with Rotary, and that was really his thing. Was always, to make sure you give back. And we look forward to staying involved in the community. And my partner, Dara Valley, and I, like I said, our kids, we're grown up in the community, and I grew up myself here. And I'm just saying, it's wonderful. And we just thank you so much for honoring us here tonight for our 60th.
Thank you. And will you take a picture?
Sure.
It's just real quick.
One more for safety, please. 3, 2, 1. Sorry. Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Many years to come.
Thank you. Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Glad to see. Also this month is Black History Month, and I thought, and Anthony Carter couldn't be here with us, and we had spoken during the month about making sure that we recognize the importance of what Black History Month is, and I've asked a good friend and another community leader and someone that really gets involved for all the right reasons in our community, Leland McGee, who many of you know from Social Justice Matters and then leading the formation of the Truth and Racial Healing and Transformation Commission that we're on, to come forward and talk a little bit about Pride and Black history and sort of what we're doing here now in our community.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm honored to be asked to receive this award, but it is with mixed feelings that I accept this award. About 3 weeks ago, at one of this country's most elite institutions, some students in a classroom raised questions about some of the required reading. There was a feeling of discomfort about it being racist. And you would think that that would be the prime place for a conversation about that, where people can engage in a discussion about something they disagree upon and come to some sense of what that might look like outside in the world. That disagreement reached a point where the professor left the classroom. And in the last 2 weeks, the university has had to engage in interventions between this instructor and students. And it is an indication of where we are as a country. It is really unfortunate that this community is not immune. My daughter went through this school system. And I have fond memories of her being in this school system. And to think that a member of this community would have their property defaced is appalling to me. And we just had that experience 2 weeks ago. We had a similar experience this fall in the high school. And so if we go back over the last 4 or 5 years, we've probably had about 4 or 5 incidents in this community. We can no longer view these incidences as one-offs. We can no longer talk about them as isolated incidents. And all of us have an obligation to weigh in on how we bring about a solution. There is no single answer. There's no event. There's no single activity. And we just had this conversation on Thursday night at the joint TRHT meeting. There is no single thing that we can do that will change how people view the people that they see in front of them. But we have to model what it is we expect to see. My expectation is that we communicate that this community is not fertile soil for the seeds of hate. We can't necessarily change people's minds, but we certainly can tell people that it's not appropriate to publicly display that kind of behavior. I'm not telling us, anyone in this room or anyone watching this, that they have to change how they feel. I certainly hope and wish that they would. But I am suggesting that it is not appropriate to be in a public space and engage in any behavior that displays any animosity based on race, ethnicity, skin color, religion. None of it is appropriate in this community or any other community. We're not immune to it. I am very, very, very thankful to the leadership of this town, Scotch Plains, and the Board of Education for being willing to step up and to bring all of you together to create the Joint Committee for Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation. I'm thankful to Rutgers University Newark for being a partner with us in this committee. Because what we are trying to do is, amongst ourselves, get an understanding of what this is that we're living through and how we should cope with it ourselves, and then how we go out and model a different way of treating people. So we're here to celebrate Black History Month, and I take great deal of pride in the fact that people do that. My personal life is Black History Day every day. You know, I have my mother and my daughter, who are the bookends of 3 generations of Black excellence, right? And I take great deal of pride in the fact that they are still with me. My mother is still with me. She'll be 93 in June. My mother still takes 3 art classes a semester at age 93. And so I take my lead, I take lessons from her. Life is about continuous growth and development. Part of that growth is how we learn to live with one another in our communities. I'm going to stop there because I could go on.
No, and you know, this is what I will say, that I think, and I speak for our council president that sits on the committee and the council here, we take having a dialogue about race very serious. We feel that it has risen to the level where we need to publicly talk about it, and we will take the opportunity anytime we get to talk about it. So I want to thank you for coming here tonight from your busy life to draw a little attention on the contributions that Black Americans make, and to thank you for really being a leader in our community, you know, where you could have taken a couple steps back, you stepped forward, and I'm just glad that we were here and ready to sit and to talk, and we look forward to having a really great 2020.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Nice.
Thank you. Nope, one more. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, take care. Okay, that's it. Okay, and real quick, we have, I think, a Go Red for Women's Heart Health resolution. Councilwoman Glazier? Can I give it to you?
Thank you. Here it is.
Thank you.
So February, Go Red for Women. Whereas cardiovascular disease, which includes stroke, is the #1 killer of women, claiming the lives of 1 woman every 80 seconds. Whereas together we can change that by inspiring one another to change lifestyles by managing weight, changing diets. I have my salad here tonight, being healthy, heart healthy. Changing diet, I could have had pizza. Changing diets, increasing exercise, getting more sleep to take control of your life, and to reduce the risk of heart disease by as much as 80%. Whereas on February 6th, women gathered in support of Go Red for Women, a program sponsored by the American Heart Association at the Chelsea at Fanwood, offering medical information and blood pressure testing to educate and increase awareness of the signs of heart disease, and offer suggestions that will allow women to take control of their heart health. And now, therefore, be resolved, the mayor and council recognize the efforts of the Chelsea and the American Heart Health Association in promoting awareness of this dreaded disease, fully support this program, and encourage all women to recognize the symptoms of heart disease, take control of their lifestyles, and invest in their hearts. Be it further resolved that this message will be spread across the minutes of this meeting so that all who follow will know that the Chelsea of Fanwood is committed to educating women on the signs of heart disease and how to prevent it with knowledge and action.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, big month for women. All right, moving on, under presentations of communications and referrals, we have several pieces of correspondence that we want to move as noted.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to make one change in the order of business. We have representatives here tonight from our library board and our library director. And so I'd like to have a motion to amend to take Resolution 2002-55 out of order and move that forward.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And so tonight, we will be authorizing, through a resolution, the submission of a grant on behalf of the Fanwood Memorial Library to take advantage of a one-to-one dollar match that was made available by a referendum that you, the voters, had passed about two years ago. And this resolution is part of the application that will be submitted starting, I want to say, like the second week of March. And there is a window about a month that is open. And so I'd like to call forward the members that are here tonight of the library to please introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about, we had a meeting earlier this month at our work session to talk about the grant, the proposals with the building itself. And this is really kind of a culmination of about 5 years.
Longer.
6 years of a conversation, and we look forward to hitting the send button soon. But please introduce yourself and maybe give us a little update on kind of where we are in the process and what we're submitting.
Very good. I'm Ann Minsky, 133 Forest Road, and I'm the president of the Board of Trustees of the Fanwood Library. I want to thank the council and the mayor for having us here tonight and for the resolution that is coming before us. It has been a long road. Colleen, we've been at many, many meetings over the years. We've gotten to know one another pretty well as the years have gone on. We are looking now to submit a very strong application for this grant. As the mayor said, it is a matching grant through the state library. The voters approved this referendum to support libraries. We started this program to support 3 main points. We want to become ADA compliant in our library. We want to increase community space because Fanwood has a dearth of spaces to meet, and we would like the library to be the hub of and the heart of Fanwood, as it already is, and also to improve the infrastructure of our building. It is cute, it is well loved, but it is also in need of a lot of work. We look to bring Fanwood into the future with a marvelous new structure that will serve all the people of the town.
Thank you. And no? Dan?
Good evening. I'm Dan Weiss, the library director here in Fanwood. And also wanted to just come tonight and thank council for this next step that we're all going to take in pursuing a new library for the community. I've been here, it's coming on 22 years. I became aware on my second day at work that the library was not ADA compliant. And we've been chasing that aspect for quite a long time. So it's exciting to think that we may soon realize this dream and achievement for Fanwood, something that can take the town very effectively into the next 25, 35, 50 years of service to the community, and in a way that we would not otherwise be able to afford if it wasn't for this pretty much once in a lifetime grant opportunity. So we're looking forward to all of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Banks, you are the liaison to the, oh, Mary, did you want to say a few words?
I'm here also tonight from the Board of Trustees, and I'm the secretary, but mostly this has been our goal and something that we have devoted ourselves to, heart and soul. So it's very exciting. We're very pleased, and we're really looking forward to what's coming. Thank you. Thank
No,
to all
thank
of
you for all of your hard work. And Councilman Banks, since you are the liaison to the library, if you would please read and then
Sure.
move that.
Well, it's my great pleasure to move Resolution 200255, whereas the mayor and council have determined that the Fanwood Memorial Library is in need of repair, renovation, and alteration to continue to fulfill its mission to provide the public with access to educational and enriching materials and programming for the residents of Fanwood. Whereas the state of New Jersey has made funds available for libraries enacting the Library Construction Bond Act, PL 2017, Chapter 149, the Act, and thus the Fanwood Memorial Library seeks to apply for funds through the grant process created by the Act. Whereas the Fanwood Mayor and Council have directed the borough's grant writer, Millennium Strategies, to assemble and pursue funds through the law's application process specified in the NJAC 1524. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Fanwood, hereby authorize the acting Borough Administrator and Fanwood Memorial Library in conjunction with the Millennium Strategies to submit an application pursuant to the regulations promulgated under the Library Construction Bond Act in the amount of $6,995,000 and to sign the certifying statements attached hereto.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good work. On to the next journey of this piece.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it appropriate to dance?
Yeah. You can dance on out.
That was a wrong.
Okay, so may we have a roll call then, please, Colleen?
Jeffrey Banks,
Yes.
Francine Glazer,
Yes.
Erin McElroy Barker,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Tricia Wolf.
Yes.
Thank you. Now going back to our regular scheduled order, Council President McElroy Barker, you have a standing committee report for A&F.
So Fred has us meeting often, just as a thank you. So we're working on a lot of things. Obviously, our first priority is the budget for the year 2020, which is a little sticky, but we're working through it, trying always to find ways to save money and keep our budget as slim as possible while giving our town what we need. So I have faith that we are on our way to getting that done. And I'm sure the council will be hearing more and more about it as we get closer to the end of that. We've been dealing with combining loans and doing complicated things to extend bonds and save ourselves some money on interest over the long term. We've also started to address the vacancies in the township in various departments and how can we efficiently get those positions filled in an efficient and fair way. And at the same time, always using this as an opportunity to make sure that we are using our people to their abilities and to their job description, and that we are, making sure that people are fulfilling the roles that they're in, and not, one person doing 50 million things and someone else having a shrunken job. So we're doing that everywhere in every department, and I think it will be more efficient as a township as a result. We are dealing with, in an ongoing way, the concerns over the cost of recycling that have gone up everywhere, all over the state, and we are eagerly waiting for the state to take a bit more action to support the township's efforts to properly recycle. That is a challenge that this town has been facing every year that I've been on council, and we continue to face, and we will try always to do what's in the best interests of our community as well as our environment, but that has definitely been a challenge. I think those are the primary things that we have been focused on in the last couple meetings. Did I forget anything, Brad?
Okay. Okay, good job. All right. Councilman Carter is not with us tonight, so we will move forward. Public Works, Councilwoman Mitchell?
Thank you. To tag on to what Councilwoman Erin said.
So much easier to say, Erin.
Pardon?
So much easier to just use my first name.
Erin?
I'd like to talk to you about recycling because we have initiated what is called TREX, which is, we got a big write-up in the paper, in the Suburban News, I guess last week. TREX is a company that will take plastic bags, and not just your ordinary grocery plastic bags, but the newspaper sleeves, all the other plastic, the bubble wrap, all the other plastic that we basically throw away. And they will make a bench out of it for us, but we need 500 pounds of it. So you will see these collection boxes around town, one of which is right in front of Borough Hall, one is at the larder, and one is at the train station. We are doing this in conjunction with Scotch Plains, they are doing it also. And they have various things around the town, their town also, but also at the Y and I think at the JCC. And there is a flyer on the wall where the boxes are that tell you exactly what you can recycle, okay? You know, when you get a thing of paper towels and it comes all in that plastic, that's the kind of plastic that you can recycle. So I was just speaking, I was in Borough Hall today, and they're being inundated with all of this heavier plastic, so that's a good thing. I think you have seen this on the Fanwood website and also on the Friday Blast. It's been on the Friday Blast for a couple of weeks now. So hopefully you will take all of your heavy plastic to these drop boxes that are situated around town. The seniors this past week had the guest speaker, and if you were here earlier in the program, Mr. Schmidlin spoke to them about the Fanwood Foundation. I know I brought this up to you before, but they have also, the Fanwood Foundation has agreed to sponsor some event for the seniors, some bigger event, like a trip, something like that. So they're just waiting for our coordinator to come up with something, and they will gladly sponsor it for us. They will be celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and the reason I'm telling you this early is because St. Patrick's Day will be catered by our local establishment at cost, which would be $11. So, and that is Sheilan's Crossing. So, we thank Sheilan's Crossing for that. The Environmental Commission, well, finally, we have this environmental resource book, which has been in the making now for a couple of years. It's the 4th edition. There we go. But anything you want to know about Fanwood environment is in this. It is updated, it's like supposed to be updated every 10 years. You will, if you want to know anything about environment here in Fanwood and the resources that we have, you can find one in the library and also here in Borough Hall. So it's yours for the reading. And we thank Gary Zelk, who was the main editor of this, the one who updated it, and he put a lot of work and time and effort into it. So I would just like to say thank you to him. He's been on the Environmental Commission for quite a few years. And I'd also like to talk about the census a little bit. I think most people should know by now that this year we are going to have a census and the importance of that census. I've been to several meetings throughout the month, and we've been getting, the information that we had to begin with was that you could only do the census online. The last meeting I went to, yes, the census is going to be done online. And you are going to get a card in the mail, apparently, from everybody's consistent in this one part. You're going to get a card in the mail, every household. They will be, and it will have a number on it. And this is the way you access it online. If you do not do it online, they will eventually send you a paper census. Now, we do have a copy of the census, and they ask you very just simple questions. How many people live in the house? They do not, and I like to stress this, they do not ask you your social security number, whether you're a citizen, bank records, anything like that. Then if you don't do either of those things, they will send somebody to knock on your door. So I hope everybody understands that it is very important for us to count everybody, because this is the way we get our federal funding back. This is the way that they project into the future of how many kids will be in the school system, and how does the school system make plans for that. It just accounts for everything. It accounts for our legislative districts in every state. So you'll be hearing more from me and probably the mayor and everybody else up here as we get closer to the middle of March, because this is when you will be getting your card in the mail. So I do plan to keep getting as much information as we can. And at some point, we haven't quite decided yet, we will probably have the library open on a particular day, so that if you need help doing it online, we will have the library open and somebody there to help you fill out the census. And I think that's it, unless anybody has any questions.
Okay. Thank you very much. Moving on, Councilwoman Walsh.
Thank you. I actually have 3 reports tonight, so I will start with the first one. That is for historic preservation. We met on January 9th, and we spoke about some acquisitions, including a scrapbook and some photos that Eleanor McGovern, recently retired, sent over to them. They are actively trying to recruit new members, so if anyone is interested in volunteering to be on historic preservation, they would love to see you. We discussed applying to have the carriage house put on the state National Registry of Historic Places. And so we'll start with applying to the state registry and have it considered.
I think it's already, you're talking about the carriage house?
Yes. So
It's already on the historic register.
Not the state.
Yeah. Oh, at the state, I'm sorry.
The
I'm
state,
sorry.
right. So that's in the works.
Good.
Some grant opportunities were discussed for the carriage house floor. So we'll hope to get some funding for that. Some spring programs were discussed. The Rahway Valley Jersenaires Barbershop Quartet will be in Fanwood either on March 1st or March 8th. We have to make sure of the date for that, and they would have a performance at the museum. And school visits have started with Evergreen and Coles coming to the museum for some trips. So I think that was it for the historic preservation. And I have the the January report from the Fanwood Fire Department for public safety. They responded to 26 calls. They conducted 2 drills, and there were no injuries reported in January. And then lastly, I have, as the liaison to the Board of Ed, their last meeting, we had a lot of discussion over field lighting at the high school, and it was not put to a vote. It was mainly just to get the information out from the contractor, and some residents came and spoke, mainly to discuss the noise and the parking and the litter that might occur should we have sporting events in the evenings. So that was a consideration. It was noted that most towns do now have lighting in the evenings for sporting events. It was mentioned that some residents are in favor of this because of the social aspect. So having town football games on Friday nights or soccer games, some residents felt that that would be really a nice thing to have, and to have the town rally around those teams in the evening on weekends. So that was discussed. And I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilman Banks?
I have one report from First Aid for January. Thank you. There were 42 calls in the month of January. They also had 23 trips to the hospital. Average response times was 6.42 minutes. And there was a baby born on January 1st.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Newtown. No, that does it.
Okay. That's all good news.
Yeah.
Colleen doesn't seem to know about that. No.
She does the,
And she's the keeper of the records.
I'll have to look into that. And rounding us out, Councilwoman Glazer?
Hi, everyone. So for Health and Senior Services regarding the Board of Health, the health services contract that Westfield has proposed this year contains the exact terms that have been used in the previous contracts. It is a 3-year contract that allows for a 2% increase for the cost of the CWA, increase it annually, whichever is less for 2020. The increase will be 2%. Also, regarding the coronavirus, just because it's a very hot topic right now, the health department has also been working with state and federal partners to mitigate any risk to residents for the coronavirus. Currently, New Jersey does not have any confirmed cases. The Westfield Regional Health Department is being notified of any residents throughout our towns that have recently returned from mainland China. We are interviewing these residents and determining what their risk is. Depending on the risk level, we are either monitoring their temperature twice daily, having them self-monitor, or placing those individuals in a voluntary quarantine for the 14-day incubation period. We have not been notified of any Fanwood residents that have recently returned from China. That's it.
Thank you very much. Under the presentation of claims?
Well, yeah, see, I'm still learning this job, so I apologize. I left 2 things out. The first is my report on TRHT, which I forget is like my second committee. So obviously Leland McGee was here tonight and gave a bit of a synopsis of the committee and what the committee's been doing. Colleen and I both sit on this committee as liaisons from Fanwood. There are liaisons from Scotch Plains, including the mayor and a councilperson from Scotch Plains, and there are liaisons from the Board of Ed. There are also community members. Jill Jackson-Jones is the Fanwood representative on the committee, and she is a really great voice to have there. The only thing I would like to say is that I think when it comes to issues of race and conflict around race, there are groups of people, I think, who don't want to talk about it and don't want to look at it at all and say it's fine and it's a one-off and we're not like that and all of that. And I think by now we all realize that, as Leland said, we are not immune. And there's other groups that sort of feel like we've done something before and we always fall on our face and there's no point and we never actually sustain any efforts to do anything real and that we're not doing enough. So this committee is the sort of the first of its kind as I know it. And it really is a committee of committed people from both towns and the Board of Education. And the commitment is to do something that's real, that's effective, and that's lasting. And that doesn't just involve one group, but all groups in the community. And the point is to get us to talk to each other and listen to each other in a more respectful way. And regardless of race, but also, you know, recognizing people's racial and ethnic differences and respecting those. And that is something that I think we could all do a better job of, myself included. So there was a solidarity march last weekend after the incident at the family's home. And there seemed to be a little confusion on social media about the purpose of the march. So I'd just like to clarify as one of the people who was at the march and a member of this committee, that the purpose of that march was to stand in solidarity with people who have been victims of racial prejudice and racism, and to stand up as a community and say we won't tolerate this in our community from anyone on any side. It was not a protest march. It was not intended to light a fire or piss people off or, you know, create controversy. The point of the march is to wake up and have us all wake up and get together and try to do better. So I just wanted to clarify that because I know there was a little bit of feedback on social media that suggested that this was some particular group maybe protesting And that's really not what it was about. So I encourage people to really read more about what we're doing, to learn more about what we're doing, and to get involved, because this does affect all of us, regardless of our race. This is our community. So I just wanted to add that because I forgot that that's my second committee. Okay, so now, tax collector's report. So tax collections for the month of January, month to date is $5,773,754.81, and that is also the year to date, and that represents a 0.45% collection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. And then, be it resolved, that claims in the amount of $3,702,529.88 have been listed on the bill list and recorded in the files of Borough Hall and approved by the chairman of the appropriate committee be paid.
Second.
And we have a roll call?
Mary McElroy Barker,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer,
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
I should just keep going, right?
Yes.
Oh, no, no. No.
No, you do.
Not yet. No,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
have to do that.
Okay, I'm sorry, yeah. May I have a motion to open the floor to any members of the public that wish to come forward at this time?
So moved.
There's no one here.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Seeing that there isn't anyone here to come forward, I'd like to have a motion to close the meeting to the public.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There is no old business. There's nothing on our consent agenda. We'll go into new business. Council President Barker?
So I introduce ordinance number 20-05-S and request the title be read by the clerk.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $800,000 for road improvements, general capital, for and by the Borough of Fanwood in the County of Union, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $380,000 in bonds or notes of the borough for financing part of the appropriation.
I move that ordinance number 20-05-S be adopted on first reading, and if adopted, that the clerk advertise the ordinance as required by law, and that the second reading of said ordinance be held at a public hearing at Borough Hall, 75 North Martine Avenue, Fanwood, on March 16th, 2020, at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be heard.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I introduce ordinance number 20-06-S and request the title be read by the clerk.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $150,000 for road improvements, sewer capital, for and by the Borough of Fanwood in the County of Union, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $142,500 bonds or notes of the borough for financing part of the appropriation.
I move that ordinance number 20-06-S be adopted on first reading, and if adopted, that the clerk advertise the ordinance as required by law, and that the second reading of said ordinance be held at a public hearing at Borough Hall, 35 North Martine Avenue in Fanwood, New Jersey, on March 16th, 2020, at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be heard.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Now I call up for second reading ordinance number 20-01-S and request that the clerk, having produced affidavit of publication, also read the ordinance by title.
Bond ordinance amending bond ordinance number 1712S, finally adopted by the Borough Council of the Borough of Fanwood, New Jersey, on August 7th, 2017.
I'm sorry, what is this for, Fred?
This is amending an early ordinance from 2017 for an additional grant for Forest Road Park.
Okay, thank you.
I move that a public hearing be held on said ordinance. Motion,
Can I have a motion to have a public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to call forward any members of the public that wish to make comments, seeing that there is no public here. To make comment, may I have a motion to close the public hearing on the bond ordinance?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
aye. I move that this ordinance be adopted on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, be published as required by law. Need a second?
Second? I have a second, yep. And then roll call, please.
Erin McElroy Barker,
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
I call up for second reading ordinance number 20-02-R and request that the clerk, having produced affidavit of publication, also read the ordinance by title.
An ordinance of the Borough of Fanwood, County of Union, and State of New Jersey, establishing when direct deposit is required.
I move that a public hearing be held on said ordinance.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Like to call forward any members of the public. Seeing that there isn't anyone, may I have a motion to close the public hearing on
So
this
moved.
item?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I move that this ordinance be adopted on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, published by, as required by law.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call?
Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
And finally, I call up for second reading ordinance number 20-04-S and request that the clerk, having produced affidavit of publication, also read the ordinance by title.
An ordinance authorizing special emergency appropriation pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-53 for severance liabilities resulting from accrued leave in connection with the retirement of employees.
I move that a public hearing be held on said ordinance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Like to call forward any members of the public. Seeing that there isn't any here, may I have a motion to close the public portion? A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I move that this ordinance be adopted on second reading and final passage, if adopted, be published as required by law.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I guess a roll call, please.
Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. I move, give me 1 second. Yeah. So I move resolution 20-02-46, archiving of social media.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Hold on 1 second, I've got to get these things separated. Okay. I move resolution 20-02-47. This resolution authorizes the agreement with CME Associates for the South Avenue project.
Second.
Right, this is for the engineering work for the South Avenue from Terrell to Shield's Crossing with all the new streetscaping and the lights and the sidewalks and
South
Right.
Avenue Transportation Infrastructure
to
Development
Terrell.
Project.
Sorry, to Terrell. Even though we are going into a contract with CME, that portion actually will get back to us. We will get that $174,000 back to us as part of the grant, but we put it out and then we get reimbursed. We have a second, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
I move resolution 20-02-48. This resolution appoints a municipal prosecutor, Daniel Antonelli.
Okay,
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on.
Move resolution 20-02-49. This resolution combines the capital improvement bonds.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Hold on 1 second, that's like a whole lot of pages. Okay. I move resolution 20-02-50, which is a temporary emergency appropriations resolution.
Till we get our budget.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
I move resolution 20-02-51, which provides a stipend for our acting borough clerk.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Yes.
I move resolution 20-02-57. This is to authorize the sale of notes for special emergency appropriations and severance liabilities resulting from accrued leave in connection with the retirement of recent employees. Recent retirement of employees.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
I move resolution 20-02-58, which amends resolution 20-01-31 regarding a TV production and videography contract with Colonia Product.
Second.
Productions. May I have a roll call, please?
Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
I move resolution 20-02-59, also amending resolution 20-01-19. This is a contract award with Millennium Strategies.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
And I move resolution 20-02-60, extending the term for our acting borough clerk.
Second.
Yes, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. I move resolution 20-02-63. This is the resolution for the Borough of Fanwood authorizing a federal aid agreement with the South Avenue Transportation Infrastructure Development Project.
Second.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what I was looking at. So this is the,
That's what you were talking about earlier, that we're entering into an agreement with DOT where we front the money and then
This
we
is the we get
draw
it back
down
money.
the money as we go along with the project.
Okay.
Plus some other requirements.
So the first resolution fronted and this one gets it back. Is that right?
is that dollar,
Yes.
but that dollar amount isn't,
So
Correct.
the way that the DOT authorizes it, it's in phases. It's the pre-design phase, final design phase, and then the construction phase.
so the award of the 174?
Is
So the
for
award
the
of-
preliminary,
But does that match up to
What
the
we-
CME contract?
yes, so far. So there's gonna be 2 more contracts with CME. I don't remember the exact amounts.
So this, they match up, okay.
Yes.
That was in the DOT paperwork. I just handed Fred that.
Okay. Okay, we just need to be real careful that
Yeah.
this is right. Okay, sounds good, awesome, okay.
And finally,
So wait, I don't know if we voted on that.
we did not.
Okay, so, we had a second, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Okay, and last but not least, I move resolution 20-02-64, which calls for a salary increase for our CFO/BA/Fred Tompkins.
Second.
May I have a,
Yes.
may I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Okay, Antonios, you wanna go before, since it's a natural break, Anthony's not here, and then we go to Public Works, so.
Sure.
Be a good time. Yeah, okay, I'll do that, okay. go ahead,
So,
number 2.
Patterson Road,
Who has it?
the construction there will be starting, hopefully next week, depending on the weather.
I'm
They
sorry,
were-
Patterson, did you say?
Yeah, Patterson, between Hunter and Martine.
Mm-hmm.
They were supposed to start this week, but there was a family emergency that pushed it back. We had a pre-construction meeting with and New Jersey American Water. They are looking to replace their water main on North Martine, from the Scotch Plains border to Midway. And that's going to be probably the entire month of April.
I'm sorry, when is it starting? Where?
April 1st, from Midway to the Scotch Plains border to the north.
Okay, okay.
And then it's my understanding that over the summer, that the county's going to come to pave North Martine.
Okay.
All this work is going to be done at night, so they'll keep traffic disturbance to a minimum as much as possible. The South Avenue Streetscape project, which was awarded tonight, we're looking to have a kickoff meeting with the DOT and the design engineers next week. So I'll report on that meeting at the next meeting.
Just talk to me before that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the vehicle charging station, it's on the agenda for tonight to authorize the last piece of that this evening. Once that's authorized, we could start with the construction work. So I'll try to set up a pre-construction meeting over the next week or two with them.
Software, operating system.
Okay, that's the
That's what's
resolution
on.
that's on tonight?
Yes.
Momentarily.
Okay, all right, great. Any
That's it.
questions for our engineer? Okay, we have one ordinance establishing parking permit refund fees.
Did you want me to read that?
Sure.
Okay.
I call up for second reading ordinance number 20-03-R and request that the clerk, having produced affidavit of publication, also read the ordinance by title.
An ordinance of the Borough of Fanwood, County of Union, and State of New Jersey, establishing parking permit refund fee.
I move that a public hearing be held on said ordinance.
May I have a motion? You have a motion, may I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Seeing that there's no one here to come forward, I'd like to have a motion to close the public hearing on the ordinance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move that this ordinance be adopted on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, be published as required by law.
Okay.
Second.
May I have a second? And roll call, please.
Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
There's a resolution too.
Oh, sure. Why don't you move that, Councilman Banks?
I move Resolution 20-02-54, the electric charging stations.
Okay.
Second.
May I have a second on that? And may I have a roll call?
Yes. Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, under Public Works, Councilwoman Mitchell.
I move resolution 20-02-52, and this is for a step increase for one of Public Works employees as stipulated by our director, Clint Dixon, and also specified in the collective bargaining agreement with the borough. And Clint says that he has demonstrated exceptional work ethic. So that's a good thing.
Okay, this is a new hire. May I have a second? Do I have a second on that?
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
I move resolution 02-02-53, and this is for basically a new hire in Public Works. We had a vacancy due to someone submitting their resignation to take a full-time job in another municipality as a fire person. And this is going to someone who did work part-time for the Public Works, and he now has a full-time job with Public Works. And from what I understand from our director, is a very good investment.
Second.
Okay, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks.
Yes.
Francine Glazer.
Yes.
Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing under land use. Under recreation, we have one resolution.
I move resolution 20-02-61, authorization for agreement with CME Associates for Forest Road Park Phase 1 improvements.
Yay.
Second.
Yeah, no. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Jeffrey Banks?
Yes.
Patricia Walsh?
Yes.
Francine Glazer?
Yes.
Erin McElroy Barker?
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Thank you. Under Health and Senior Services, Councilwoman Glazer, you have one ordinance and 3 resolutions to move this evening.
Yes. I introduce ordinance 20-07-R and request the title be read by the clerk.
An ordinance of the Borough of Fanwood, County of Union, State of New Jersey, establishing collection of solid waste and hours of collection.
Okay, and this, just for our remembrances, this was when we had a resident complaining about the early pickup time downtown with the new apartments and the townhomes, and so we're treating these hours as our residential hours? So it's an hour, okay, so it should start at 6 a.m. Okay, thank you, sorry.
I move that ordinance number 20-07-R be adopted on first reading, and if adopted, that the clerk advertise the ordinance as required by law, and that the second reading of said ordinance be held at a public hearing at Borough Hall, 75 North Martine Avenue, Fanwood, New Jersey, on March 16th, 2020, at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be heard.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Moving on.
Page 41. I move a resolution to support from local governing body authorizing the Sustainable Jersey grant application.
Second.
I don't know what this is for. What this is for?
Sustainable Jersey Grant.
Oh, each 40.
Don't we do this every year?
I don't know anything that's gonna be on
Aren't we, aren't we doing, are we going to submit an application for
That's the
sustainable?
Sustainable New Jersey.
New Jersey?
Grants program.
Oh, it's just for applying it.
Yeah.
Should apply.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not,
okay, I just was asking because wasn't sure. Okay, so we have a second, may we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Francine Glazer?
Yes.
Patricia Walsh?
yes.
Jeffrey Banks?
Yes.
Erin McElroy Barker?
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Okay, next.
All right. I move resolution 20-02-62, authorizing shared service agreement, Union County Emergency Medical Services.
Second.
Second, and Councilwoman Walsh, you were involved with this, right?
Yeah, we were there.
And
Yes.
right, and this is just the county helping to augment our emergency services,
Yeah,
Yes.
it
rescue
was-
squad?
It was wonderful, it really was.
Yeah, it was a very good meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Awesome, and so we have the agreement,
Yes.
okay. And so this I'll be able to authorize that agreement based on this resolution? Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. I think it was, everybody was very happy. The rescue squad was happy.
Right.
Yeah.
The county was very, very pleased to be able to help.
It's very
Yes.
unusual.
No, it was, as Trish said, it was a good, really good meeting all around.
Everybody was happy. It was
Everybody was
good.
happy, and they wanted to begin as soon as possible.
Which I
Yeah.
think we're ready,
Yes.
it's
Right, we're
happening.
already doing it.
Okay, so we have a second, may I have a roll call, please, on the shared service agreement?
Yes, Francine Glazer?
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks?
Yes.
Erin McElroy Barker?
Yes.
And Catherine Mitchell? No, Patricia Walsh.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, that is it.
One more resolution.
Yep. there's
Oh,
more.
sorry. Didn't
Last
see
but
it.
not least.
Did not see it.
Hey, you gotta do this one.
I move resolution 20-02-65, authorizing contract town of Westfield for their public health services.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Francine Glazer?
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Jeffrey Banks?
Yes.
Erin McElroy Barker?
Yes.
Patricia Walsh?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That is the last
Yes.
order of business that we're doing. There's nothing under land use. I'd like to have a motion to open the meeting to the public.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, yes. Seeing that there isn't anyone here this evening to come forward, may I have a motion to close the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We can do some council comments, and then we are going to go into an executive session where we will not be taking any action, and we'll just be coming out to expressly adjourn. So Councilwoman Walsh, I'll start off for you, if you want to end the meeting with some comments.
Yes, thank you. So I would just like to reiterate a little bit of what Leland and Erin said, that I hope everyone in Fanwood will consider their words very carefully, think about what we're trying to do, and consider helping out with anything they can in that vein. And have a nice month.
Thank you. Councilman?
Everybody stay healthy, wash your hands a lot. There's a lot going around. And have a good month as well. Thank you.
Okay. Council President?
I think I've said enough.
Okay.
Good month.
Councilwoman?
Yes, I forgot to give a report, as did our council president. And so I have to apologize to public. And I will basically give you the tonnage results from the collection of our plastic and recyclables. In January 9th, it was 35.27 tons, January 23rd, 24.98 tons, and February 6th, 24.41 tons, for a total of 85.66 tons. So it seems that we're collecting a lot of recyclables. Also, I got a blast, a Fanwood blast, that the recycling that is to take place this Thursday will probably be done in 2 days. So Thursday and Friday. So if your recyclables are not, your curbside recyclables are not picked up on Thursday, leave your bins out. They will be collected on Friday. And I don't know. I think spring is coming. I've seen some robins, so I think that's a good sign. So have a good month, everyone.
Thank you. Councilwoman?
It was my birthday this month, so yeah.
Happy birthday.
And it's fun celebrating Black History Month, and I hope everyone stays healthy for the rest of February.
That's great.
So.
All right, so I want to thank you for tuning in and listening to what goes on here on your behalf as we guide government as we head into 2020. And please feel free to make sure you always visit our website. Make sure you're signed up for our weekly e-blasts that come out every Friday. We have over 2,000 residents that actually get that on a pretty consistent basis. So with that, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.